Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series.
Hey guys, look what I just picked up. It's an NES II, also known as a top loader. I'm going to spare you the details of a system review. I'll do a system review on this at some point. If you guys would like to see that, let me know. But today, strictly, all we're going to do is we're going to clean it up, because I just got this, and it's pretty dirty. Not like horribly dirty, but it could use a good cleaning. Also, opening it up and cleaning out the contacts and everything would be a really good idea. And there's all sorts of like just gunk and dirt and stuff that's stuck in the cracks and so on. So I know we can make this better, so we're going to do that. And obviously this is all the stuff that it came with. It came with 4 games, controller, well, light gun controller, the dog bone controller. But none of that really matters. Let's go ahead and let's open this up. So in order to do that, we've got 4 screw points. Here, 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 and here. And this is when Nintendo started deciding to use game bits instead of regular Phillips screwdrivers. So you're going to need one of these. This is a special game bit screwdriver. These cost about $4 online. Highly recommend getting one because they open up every single Nintendo system other than the NES, the original NES, not the Model 2 here. And I don't know if they open Wii's. I think they do, but I could be wrong about that. But anyway, so you need this special game bit, and you're going to go ahead and open those 4 points, and then we'll move on. So once you have your screws out, the lid just lifts off relatively easily. You may have to push on the controller ports a little bit, and on the back by the RF stuff a little bit, but then once you do that, just lift it up. And we're going to take this apart to clean this up. So it has these little switches here. Just push in like that, and those should just come right out. Maybe not super easily, but okay, there we go, out. And then the other one, push down like that, pop that out. We'll make sure to clean those buttons up. There's also 3 screw points there, one here, here, and here. Make sure to unscrew those. For that, you'll need a standard Phillips screwdriver. Okay, once you've removed those screws, put them aside, and then take this out just like that. And as you can see, filthy, all kinds of disgustingness in there. Cartridge slot is horribly gross. You'll also have this little flap here that comes right up. This can also be cleaned. And then all we have left here is dirty plastic. For these pieces of plastic, what we're going to do is we're just going to take soap and water and just rinse them down and just get out all this nasty dirtiness. Because, you know, obviously you can clean the plastic without damaging the electronics. So, I'm going to set those aside, and we'll do that in a moment. But I want to take a look at the board here. Now here it is. Here's our entire NES Model 2. What I would suggest at this point, depending on how dirty yours is, and this one's pretty dirty, so I think I'm going to do this, remove the board. So for that, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. The 2 holding the cartridge slot are silver, so I'm willing to bet that they're longer, and you should remember that those 2 go in those 2 areas. Okay, my theory was absolutely correct. You know, I got those 3 out, and then the 2 silver ones are totally different. After that, you can just lift up. The board slips out really easily. And then you're left with your plastic. And just like the other plastic, all we're going to do is we're going to, put this under the sink with some soap and water, scrub it up and get it nice and clean. You can see, possibly you can see the difference here. This is an area that's had dust allowed to it, because there's been nothing protecting it. Under there, right here, the board's been protecting it, so it's not particularly dirty. So the goal is to get it all to be very shiny and nice and clean and new again. So let's go ahead and clean up all these little plastic pieces now. Okay, so I've rinsed these things down, and as you can see, they look like a lot better. But there's certain parts that I can't get off with just water. For example, there's a little scuff right there. There's actually a couple more of those on the case. But there is a solution, and usually I wait later to do this, but I'm going to do it now. What you do for those is you get this thing called Mr. Clean's Magic Eraser, which is basically like a really fine sandpaper, essentially. And what you're going to do is you're just going to go up to that scuff mark and wipe it like this, back and forth, and voila, gone. You may want to give it another rinsing after that, because obviously it's going to leave some little dust particles from this coming off. But if you see any more of those, just go ahead and do it all around. While you're letting the other pieces dry, it's time to move on to this, the actual system board, and see what kind of things you can do to clean it up. As you can see, the controller boards have a lot of dirt around them. There's a lot of dust on the board. The controller board is, well, the pins are probably pretty dirty. Parts of this you can see are just filthy and disgusting. So there's quite a few things we can do to improve this. The first and the easiest is to take compressed air and to just kind of spray it all around, like this, basically. Yeah, and that gets a lot of surface dust off, like, immediately. Now, to make that process easier, if you want, you can remove this and the top RF shield and the bottom RF shield there to get to the board more easily. But at least in my case, it wasn't particularly dusty, so that wasn't really needed. So I'm just going to leave them right back on there. But as for the controller boards, or the controller ports around there and on top of that area there, I find that the best method is to basically take, just a Q-tip and some Windex or window lean, depending on where you are in the world, which is basically just an ammonia-based glass cleaner, but it's perfect for cleaning stuff, really. You just spray some on a Q-tip like that, get it, and then just go around the edges and just kind of wipe some of the dirt off. Just do a spot cleaning, really. I'll continue this method around the controller boards, but you'd also do it back here, Just get some of the dirt off like that, and as you can see, it's just destroying the dirt. So once you've finished cleaning the controller ports and the back, which you can see is massively improved, at least I hope you can see that, what you're going to want to do next is clean the actual system contacts. And for that, I personally use a cartridge cleaning kit. Now, I realize that's not really something most people are going to be able to get their hands on, so the alternative to this is what's called the credit card method. You basically take a credit card or any kind of plastic card and fold it in like a felt cloth, and then do exactly what I'm about to do. You take one of these, and you take, again, your Windex, window lean, what have you, and you spray some on just like this. And what I do is I kind of wipe it down with my finger like that, make sure to get it completely covered. And then you just go into the contacts like this, and basically just go up and down a few times and clean off the dirt and stuff that's stuck on the pins. And then I'll take my finger here, and if I wipe it down like that, you can just see there's a ton of just dirt and nastiness that was trapped in there that is now liberated. So what you should do is continue to do this a few times, and then dry this off, and then do it again to get excess moisture out of there and extra dirt. And then once that's done, take your compressed air and spray it in there again to really dry it out. I'm going to show you how to clean cartridges. One of the big problems with the NES has always been that the games don't really read very well, which is kind of why the top loader is nice. But more often than not, the real problem with your original NES isn't that the system isn't working. It's actually that the cartridges are dirty, which is why we all believe blowing in the cartridge is a good idea. It's not. It's actually a really horrible idea. What that does is the moisture from your breath basically gets on the pins, and then over time causes them to corrode more and more and more, which is why they don't work. Well, that's one of the reasons they don't work with most systems. The NES is a special exception, but point is, never actually blow in the cartridge. That's a horrible, horrible rumor that got started. Sometimes that works because it would get little bits of dust off and it would read the game, but over time it makes it worse and worse and worse. So here's how you properly clean your cartridges. Take a Q-tip, and you take Windex again, and you just spray some on just like we did before. Get it right on there, and then go on the, like, underneath here, and just rub it back and forth like this on one side. And look at all the dirt that comes off. Yeah, blowing in it is not going to get that out. Blowing in it causes this. Let's flip it over, take the other somewhat clean side, do the other side of the system contacts, back and forth, and you'll get more crap out. Now, dry it off, use the dry side, flip it over, and basically just continue the exact same process, back and forth and back and forth. Now, you may have to repeat this depending on how dirty the cartridge is, but generally that's going to do it. I mean, look at all the crap that came off. So, if this cartridge doesn't work, it's because it's still dirty, but I would believe now it would probably work on the first try. So, always do that to clean your cartridges. Don't blow in them. You know, sometimes after what, I just did, sometimes you blow in it once just to get excess cotton out, but that's really it. Don't blow in it trying to get it to work. Just for the hell of it, while the system continues to dry, I'm going to show you how to clean one of these dog bone style controllers. These were exclusive with the NES 2. Although maybe you could buy them separately, I don't know. But anyway, it's basically the same process. You just go ahead and find the screw points, which there's 5 of them. You'll need a Phillips head screwdriver. Just go ahead and remove those, and then we'll move on. Alright, so once the 5 screws are out, you're just going to take it apart. And easiest to just kind of take the back piece off, which you can see around the edges is pretty dirty, and that'll clean up real well. The back is pretty gross. Front's, still kind of dirty. That could clean up. But anyway, flip it over. Untangle this little cable part here, and then pull the board up, and then take a look at it and see if there's any corrosion. There isn't, so don't worry about it. If there is, you can kind of clean that up with like Windex and Q-tips. But anyway, remove these little rubber panel things, and then, well, that's your start and select button. But then you'll basically just get the D-pad and the A and B button, pop those out, and then you're down to the plastics. And just like with the case, you just take these plastic pieces and then clean them with soap and water, and that's really all you got to do. You can clean these with soap and water if you want, these little rubber things. It's up to you, depending on how dirty they are. These aren't really dirty, so I'm not going to. And obviously don't clean the board with soap and water, just leave it be. Okay, so now they're all rinsed and cleaned up, and as you can see, they look a lot better. The dirt's all off, and that's just awesome. So just like with the system, all we're going to do is just kind of play the waiting game and let them dry. So you could dry them by hand if you want, but my method is always to just kind of let them air dry. I feel that's the way more thorough method, because obviously you don't want to risk getting moisture on any of the electronics. So just be patient. Okay, so once it's completely dry, it's time to put the controller back together. So I would just start with these little rubber pad things and just put them down in the appropriate places. Well, okay, just with the center part. Then go with the plastic piece, then put the rubber pad over that, and then over here. Well, these kind of line up like that. It's with the little thin piece to the right. In both cases, just put it like that, and then take your little rubber pad thing, put it on over like that. And then you take the board right here, and you put it on like this, fitting it over there, and then just kind of bend this back like that. There you go, through the little plastic parts there. Then take this back piece, put it over like that, just fit it on, and then take your 5 screws and put them in. Okay, so now I have it back together, and it looks substantially better than it did before. Buttons are all nice and clicky, seems great. Now it's time to put the actual system back together. So we start with our plastic base here, which looks pretty good, and then we take our board, and we just kind of fit it right back in where it was, and then we take our screws here, and we're going to screw it back together. Now remember that the silver ones go in the cartridge area, and the 3 like brass ones go around the edges. Okay, so now the screws are back in place. Remember that the screws are right there, 2 on the side here, and then the 2 silver ones by the cartridge slot. This is in place, and this is all great. Now let's go ahead and take the lid right there and put this back together. First, I would suggest starting with the little power button. Just pop that, well, make sure it's in the right direction, of course, and pop that into place, and then take your reset button, and obviously also make sure that that is in the right place. And you may have to kind of push underneath to make sure that it kind of fits, but there you go, it's in. And now we have to deal with the cartridge slot. So take this part and flip it this way. It really can only get in one way, and just kind of line it up with those little pieces there. Then take your cartridge loading bay, and again, it can really only go in one way, and put it in like that. Now, of course, you still have 3 screws that have to go into those 3 screw points, so go ahead and then do that. Okay, now that that's together, and of course this is together, final step here is to take this and put it on. Now, the only issue here is make sure the power switch is down, or have it up and then make sure this is up, but I suggest having it down, and then that way you can line them up, and it just fits on really nicely and easily. And then you take your 4 screws that, again, are game bit screws, so you'll need your game bit screwdriver, but go ahead, put them back in, and tighten it back up. Okay, so now we have the NES back together, and I think it looks pretty good. But we're going to improve it a little bit more. What we're going to do is we're going to take some Pledge, orange Pledge, or you could use lemon or whatever, I don't really care, doesn't matter. Take some Pledge, spray it on paper towel just like this, and just rub it around. and give it a nice little clean coating. And go ahead and do that on on the top and on the sides, and then make sure to wipe off any excess moisture. Alright, it's had some time to dry, and I think it looks pretty good, don't you guys? The pledge coating, it makes it look a lot nicer, or well, it would make a darker system look a lot nicer. White systems don't tend to benefit a whole lot from that, but they do improve. But, of course, the question is, does the system work? I don't know. I bought it, and I haven't actually tested it yet. I've never had a top loader before, so it's kind of cool to finally get one. But why don't we go ahead and hook it up and find out. Okay, I've got it all hooked up here. I'm using it on this TV because this TV is a little bit more RF friendly, and unfortunately the top loader Model 2 NES only supports RF, which is horribly stupid design. But I won't get into that right now. Let's just go ahead and take Donkey Kong, because that's the one you guys saw me clean. Pop it in, put it in. Immediately works, first try, which is awesome. So, yeah, I've never played this game. Well, no, I think everyone's played this game. Yep, everyone knows this game. But, yeah. Ugh, one of many reasons I hate RF. But anyway, thing works perfectly, which is awesome. And I hope that anyone out there who actually is lucky enough to have a top loader Model 2 NES, I hope this helped you learn how to clean one up and restore it.